I just saved over $1,400 on my last cruise using 3 strategies that many people don't even know about. So here's the truth. Cruise lines have one primary job, and that's maximizing their profit from your vacation. Their entire business model is designed to get you to spend more at every turn. I'm Kat, and after 40 cruises, I'll share with you 10 legitimate ways to help you flip this dynamic in your favor. Let's start with something that might surprise you, ARP membership. Now I know what you're thinking, well Kat, I am not retired and I'm nowhere near 50. Well, here's a secret that many people don't know. Anyone can join ARP regardless of age. So for just $12 to $16 per year, an ARP membership gives you access to some cruise discounts. On some cruise lines, it can be 5 to 10% off select sailings, but on other cruise lines, their regular promotion fares may be less than the ARP discounts. One of the best ARP perks is their discount on cruise line gift cards. You can often buy gift cards for major cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Princess at 10% off face value. And that is an instant $50 savings before you even step on board. So don't let the name fool you. It's not just for retirees. It's for smart travelers and cruisers who want to save money regardless of age. This next strategy sounds completely counterintuitive, but trust me, it works. If you're traveling with family, especially with kids, consider booking 2 connecting cabins instead of one larger suite. Cruise ship suites are gorgeous, but they come with a massive premium. And what many people don't realize is that 2 standard balcony cabins can often cost a lot less than one suite, while giving you more square footage and space and an extra bathroom, which is absolutely priceless when you're traveling with teenagers. Now, true, you don't get the full suite benefits when booking this way. However, if you're traveling with small children, do you really want to pay for their access to the suite lounge, the suite deck, or coastal kitchen? There are actually several other benefits of booking 2 separate cabins. For example, one of them is getting twice the promotions. So if you're getting onboard credit, you'd get twice as much. There are also some creative ways to assign kids and adults into specific cabins if you're trying to save money on drink packages, which usually come with a restriction of having all adults in the same cabin to buy a package. And most importantly, privacy. Parents, I'm talking to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So cruise lines would rather have you splurge on those fancy suites, but make sure to do the math before you book because 2 rooms may be ideal for you. Gratuities are one of those expenses that keeps creeping up year after year. I remember when they were $12 per day, and now they're closer to $18 to $20 on most mainstream cruise lines. So here's a strategy the cruise lines don't advertise. Prepaying your gratuities locks in the current rate, even if the cruise line raises them before you're sailing. So the cruise lines are hoping you'll wait and pay the higher rates later. So don't fall for it. Lock in those gratuities early and protect yourself from that seemingly inevitable increase. Since we're talking about gratuities, the next tip is not as much about saving big money, but not being taken advantage of. Did you know that on most cruise lines, you're already paying an automatic 18 to 20% gratuity on all bar drinks, spa services, and specialty dining? Yet the receipt you sign will have a tip line, making many people just feel obligated to add an additional tip on top of the automatic gratuity that's already included. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen other people double tipping without realizing it. So think about this. If you add a $5 tip on a $25 drink bill that already includes a $4.50 automatic gratuity, that's a 40% tip. So always check your receipts carefully, and many times the included gratuities are called a service charge on the receipt, which really confuses many people. So you are absolutely welcome to add more for exceptional service, but don't feel pressured to tip twice out of confusion. On the final morning of the cruise, most passengers are in this mad rush to be the first off the ship. They set alarms, they skip breakfast, and then they line up in crowded hallways with their luggage. Well, here's a counterintuitive strategy, but do the exact opposite and be among the last to disembark. So unless we have an early flight back on our cruises, we choose the latest disembarkation time. While others are standing in long lines at 7 a.m., we're just waking up, we enjoy a leisurely breakfast, we chill out on half-empty ship, and walk off the ship at 9:30 to 10 a.m. with zero waiting. Now, unless you have an early flight to catch, there's absolutely no advantage to rushing off the ship. The cruise lines, they create this sense of urgency on the final morning that honestly I find a little stressful, but smart cruisers know that patience pays off with much more pleasant end to your vacation. In the age of online booking capabilities, this might sound old-fashioned, but using a good travel advisor is one of the smartest things that you can make. And here's the kicker, it costs you nothing extra. Travel agents get paid commission by the cruise lines, not by you. But what they offer in return is invaluable. You can get exclusive promotions, onboard credits, and perks. As a travel advisor, I regularly get clients anywhere from $50 to $300 on onboard credit that is not available when booking directly with a cruise line. I also have access to exclusive group rates that on many sailings that you cannot get directly. Now, the cruise lines would rather you book directly with them because they get to keep that amount that they would normally pay out as commissions, while really providing you virtually zero services. Of course, beyond the perks, a good advisor will use their cruising experience to help you plan your cruise. Because really, going on a cruise is not the same as just booking a hotel on a beach. So if you are going to work with one, make sure that they have a lot of actual cruising experience. There's a persistent myth in cruising that waiting till the last minute gets you the best deals. And let me bust that right now. For most cruises, booking early, and we're talking about 20 to 24 months early, almost always gets you the best deal. Here's why. Cruise lines have what they call dynamic pricing, where prices generally increase as ships fill up. They start with their lowest fares to build up the booking base, and then they gradually raise prices as sailing dates approach. Now, there are exceptions. Last-minute deals do exist, especially for less popular sailings or shoulder seasons, but they come with major downsides. You have limited cabin selection, you usually will have higher airfare costs, and fewer perks. Plus, when you book early, you get a lot bigger choice of cabins, which is very important if you're traveling with children or just any multiples of cabins. Because I see this all the time when people want to cruise in a month or two, and there's only a few cabins left open on the whole ship, so we cannot match up two cabins next to each other for the parents and the children. The next tip is very simple, but not many people still know about it. If you own stock in a cruise company, you can get onboard credits for your cruises. Carnival Corporation, which includes Carnival, Princess, Holland America, and other cruise lines, Royal Caribbean Group, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, all offer shareholder benefits. Typically, you do need to own at least 100 shares. The benefits will vary by company, but generally you're going to receive anywhere from $50 to $250 in onboard credit depending on the sailing length. Now, we purchased 100 shares of Royal Caribbean stock a few years ago, and we've received over $1,000 in onboard credits across multiple cruises. And the process is very simple. You just send proof of stock ownership before you cruise, and they add it on. This next strategy has saved me thousands over the years, and it's something cruise lines definitely don't openly advertise. Did you know that if the price of your cruise drops after you book, but before the final payment, you can often get the lower rate? And this is also a reason why you want to book early instead of waiting for the last minute. Cruise prices fluctuate constantly based on demand, kind of like an airline ticket. But unlike most airlines that have non-refundable rates, cruise lines will usually adjust your fare if you catch a price drop before your final payment date. So the key here is usually it's not an automatic process. You have to monitor the prices yourself and then call your travel agent or the cruise line to request adjustment. Some travel agents do offer the price monitoring included in their services. And what happens is some cruise lines will refund the difference, while others might just offer onboard credit, but either way you win. So the cruise lines are counting on you to book and forget. So don't give them that satisfaction and use that for your benefit. This strategy involves those upgrade bidding programs that many cruise lines now offer, like Royal Up from Royal Caribbean and Norwegian's Upgrade Advantage. These programs let you bid on upgrades to better cabins, but there's a strategy to winning without overpaying. So first of all, research what the actual price difference is between your current cabin and the one you want to upgrade to. You don't want to bid more than what the difference would have been. Otherwise, you could have just booked the better cabin from the start. Second, bid on multiple categories to increase your chances, but focus on the less popular ones. Everybody wants to bid on those top suites, but there are only a few of them on the whole ship. Your chances are higher to get upgraded to an ocean view or balcony versus a suite. With that said, on one of our cruises, I won an upgrade from a balcony to a junior suite with a $150 bid for 2 of us for a week. So the cruise lines created these bidding systems to extract the maximum revenue from their inventory. But with some strategic thinking, you really can turn that system to your advantage. Remember that cruise lines are businesses designed to maximize profit. And if you want to learn even more money-saving cruise tips, check out my video on things that you should never buy on a cruise, and I'll link it right here. Thank you for watching.